Hello students, let's do ratio and proportion, exercise 7a. Exercise 7a is on page number 97. We are with question 14. Okay, let's read this. The ages of two boys, A and B, are 6 years and 8 months and 7 years and 4 months respectively. That means, when do we use this word respectively? When we are talking about numbers and mentioning certain other numbers immediately after it. So here we are saying boys A and B. This is the order. So the ages also, this will be for boy A and the second number will be for boy B. That's why we are saying respectively. Okay. Now the question is, divide 3150 in the ratio of their ages. Okay, so let's begin. The age of boy A is 6 years and 8 months. Now we have years and months. Let's convert it to a single unit. We'll convert it to months. So we know that in 1 year we have 12 months, isn't it? So in 6 years, we will have 12 into 6. 12 into 6 is 72. So that means in 6 years we have 72 months. Now here it says 6 years and 8 months. So we have to add this 8 months to 72. So let's add the 8 months to 72. So what do we get? 2 plus 8 is 10, carry 1. 7 plus 1 is 8, 80. So totally this is 80 months. So the age of boy A is 80 months. Now we have to find the age of boy B also in months like this. So the age of boy B is 7 years and 4 months. So we're going to convert all this into months. So we know 1 year has 12 months. So here it is 7 years. So 7 years will be 12 into 7. 12 sevens are 84. Okay. Now here it says 7 years and 4 months. That means we need to add that 4 months to 84 months here. So let's add 4 here. What do we get? 4 plus 4 is 8, 88. That means the age of boy B is 88 months. So now we have the age of boy A in months, age of boy B in months. Now why did we do this? So that our ratio will be easier to find, because if they are in the same units. Here we have 2 units, so we brought them into one single unit. Now we are going to write the ratio of their ages. So what do we have? 80 months is to 88 months. Remember, we don't write the units, so I'm just writing 80 is to 88. Now whenever you are given a ratio, what do? We reduce it to the lowest term. So to reduce this to the lowest term, we have to first write it in the form of a fraction. So when we write it in the form of a fraction, now we can reduce it by dividing it with a common factor, which is a common factor that can divide both the numbers 80 and 88. So we can divide both by 8, isn't it? So what do we get? 8 tens are 80 and 8 11s are 88. So 10 by 11. That means our ratio is 10 is to 11. So first we've got the ratio of the ages to the lowest term. Now we have to find the sum of the ratios. Now when do we find the sum of the ratios? Whenever we have to divide a certain amount into a particular ratio, remember to find the sum of the ratios. So now let's add up this 10 plus 11. Sum of the ratios means adding up the two ratios. 10 plus 11 is 21. So now we have the sum of the ratios. Now we're going to start finding out how much boy A got and how much boy B got. So you need to remember that the first number in the ratio is for boy A, the second number is for boy B. So 10 is to 11, you should keep in mind, and the sum of the ratios. So now let's find the amount each boy got. Now first, what is the given amount? So the given amount is rupees 3,150. This is already given to us in the question. Now, what is the share of boy A? Remember the ratio is 10 is to 11. So the first number is for boy A, 10. Divide this by the sum of the ratios, which is 21, and multiply it by rupees 3,150, because this is the amount that has to be shared. So what have we done? We've taken the first number in the ratio, 10. We've divided it by the sum of the ratios and we're going to multiply it by 3150. Now we can cancel 21 and 3150. Okay, so let's divide 3150 by 21 and see. So 3150 divided by 21. So 3, we can't do 31. So 21 ones are 21 minus 0, 1, 5. So we have 105. Now let's try 21 into 5 because it's ending in 5 there, isn't it? So 5 ones are 5, 5 twos are 10. Okay, so we got 105. So 25 fives are 105. So here the remainder is 0, and then we bring down the next number, which is a 0. So we take that 0 up. So now that is over. Our division is over. And what is our quotient? 150. That means 21 into 150 is 3150. So we got that, isn't it? 21 ones are 21. Now we have to multiply these two. So 10 into 150, we write 150 and add 10 because we're multiplying it by 10. So boy A gets 1500 rupees. Now let's find out how much boy B gets. Okay, now there are two ways of doing it. One, now we already know the total amount and we know how much boy A got. If we minus these two, we will know how much boy B got. Okay, now this method that we are doing here is the ratio method. So we can do that same method here. So there are two methods. So the first one, like I said, is minusing these two. Second one is doing it like this. So let's do it this way. So the second number in the ratio is 11 divided by the sum of the ratios, that is 21, into rupees 3150. It is the same step as this. It's the same step as this. Only difference is here we are writing 10, which is the share of boy A, and here we are writing 11. Otherwise, 21 is the same, 3150 is the same. So cancelling is easy because it's already done. 21 ones are 21 and 21 into 150 is 3150. Now we have to multiply 150 into 11. So let's do that. 150 into 11. 0, 5 and 1. Again 0, 5 and 1. Now we add this up. 0, 5, 1 plus 5 is 6 plus 1, 1650. So the amount that boy B gets is 1650. So we know how much boy A got and we know how much boy B got. Now if you add up these two, you have to get the total amount, that is 3150. Question 15. Three persons start a business and spend 25,000 rupees, 15,000 rupees and 40,000 rupees respectively. Since we are talking about three persons, this amount is for the first person, the second amount is for the second person, and the third amount is for the third person. Now what do we have to find out? We have to find the share of each person out of a profit of 14,400 in a year. Okay, so let's write what is given to us first. So here we have been told the amount invested by A is 25,000 rupees. Amount invested by B is 15,000 rupees and the amount invested by C is 40,000 rupees. Now we have to find the share out of this profit, isn't it? So now we have to first find the ratio of these three numbers. Ratio between these three numbers. So let's do that. The ratio of the investment. That means we're going to write down all these numbers. So we're going to remove the unit rupees and write only the numbers. So the first one is 25,000 rupees is to, the second one is 15,000 is to 40,000. So we have our numbers like this. Now we have to reduce this to the lowest term. Now since we have three numbers here, we can reduce it to the lowest term by cancelling it here itself. Okay, so first we can cancel the zeros. So let's cancel the zeros. So we have 1, take off 1 from each. Now see if there's one more 0. Yes, we can remove one more and one more we can remove. That's it. Okay, So now what are our numbers? 25, 15 and 40. Again, we can reduce it here itself. We can divide 25, 15 and 40 by a common factor. And what is that common factor? 5. 5, isn't it? So 5 into what is 25? 5 fives are 25 is 2. 5 into how much is 15? 5 threes are 15 is 2. 5 into how much is 40? 5 eights are 40. So what is the ratio? Let me put it close together. So 5 is to 3 is to 8. So this is our ratio. This is the ratio between the investments of these three persons. So now since we're going to divide this amount among these three people, we have to find the sum of the ratios. So sum of the ratios will be 5 plus 3 plus 8. So let's do it. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. So the sum of the ratios is 16. Now we are going to find out how much each person's share is out of the profit of 14,400 in a year. So we have a profit here and we are going to find the share of A, B and C. So what is the ratio that we got? The ratio that we got was 5 is to 3 is to 8. So 5 is for the first person A, 3 is for the second person and 8 is for the third person. So we're going to keep this in mind when we work out this. So first let's begin to find the share of A in the profit. So take the first number, that is 5, divided by the sum of the ratios. What is the sum of the ratios? When we added all this, we got 16. 5 plus 8 is 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. So 5 by 16 into the profit. Profit is 14,400. Now we can cancel 16 and 14,400. Now let's divide 14,400 by 16 and see what we get. So 14,400 divided by 16. So let's see, now 1 is small, then we take 4, 14 is also small, now 144. Let's try 16 into 9. 9 sixes are 54, carry 5. 9 ones are 9 plus 5 is 14. So we've got 144. That is 16 into 9 is 144 minus, then we have 0. So carry that 0 up and a 0, one more 0. So the remainder is 0. So what do we have here? 900. So that means 16 ones are 16 and 16 into 900 will give us 14,400. Now let's multiply the numerators. 5 into 900. We have to multiply these two. So we can multiply 5 into 9. 5 nines are 45 and then put the two zeros of 900. Put the two zeros. So we've got the amount. This is 4,500. So rupees 4,500 is what the first person gets. Now the same way we have to do for the second and the third person, B and C. So as we did it here for the first one, the second number 3 is for B, the person B. So let's use that second number and do everything in the same manner. So let's do that. So that will be 3 by the sum of the ratio, which is 16, into 14,400. Since the cancelling has already been done in the first part, we just have to do the same thing here. 16 ones are 16 and 16 into 900 is 14,400. Now let's multiply the numerators. So 3 into 900. Let's first do 3 into 9. 3 nines are 27 and then add the two zeros. So we get 2,700 rupees. So now we know the share of B. Now to find the share of C, we can do the same thing. Take the third number 8 and do it the same way here. So let's write 8 by the sum of the ratios 16 into 14,400. So again, since cancelling has already been done, we just have to copy that 16 into 1 and here 16 into 900. So now we have to multiply the numerators. 8 nines are 72 and add the two zeros. 7,200 rupees. So now we have the share of all three persons. First person gets 4,500 rupees. second person gets 2,700 rupees and the third person gets 7,200 rupees. Now you can check your answer by adding up all three. You must get 14,400. Question 16. A plot of land 600 square meter in area is divided between two persons such that the first person gets 3/5 of what the second gets. Now we need to find the share of each. Okay, so area of a plot of land given to us is 600 square meter. Now let the share of the second person be X. Okay, and then the share of the first person, what is it given here? The first person gets 3/5 of what the second gets. That means 3/5 of X. So the share of the first person will be 3/5 of X. That will be 3/5 into X. Of means into. So we multiply 3 into X, we get 3x/5. So this is the share of the first person. Share of the first person in the fraction form is this, and this is the share of the second person. Now let's write the ratio between them. So what will it be? First person is 3x/5 and the second person is X. Okay, now here to find this ratio, remember ratio is also division. So 3x/5 divided by x/1. So this will be 3x/5. Remember, division becomes multiplication. X/1 becomes 1/x. Now let's cancel what we can. I can cancel this x and this x. So now what is left? 3 into 1. In the numerator, I have 3. 1s are 3. In the denominator, I have 5. So what is the ratio? The fraction is 3/5. So the ratio is 3:5. Okay, so now we found the ratio between them. So this will be for the first person and this will be for the second person. Now we have to find the sum of the ratios. Whenever there is some division between two persons or three persons, remember to find the sum of the ratio and follow this particular method. So let's find the sum of the ratios. So add up 3 plus 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. So we've got 8 as the sum of the ratios. The ratio is 3:5 and the area of the plot is 600 square meter. With all these details, we can now find out the share of each. So let's do that. So the area of the plot of land is 600 square meter. The sum of the ratios we just found is 8 and the ratio is 3:5, isn't it? So the ratio is 3:5 and remember 3 is for the first person. So to find the share of the first person, we take the first number 3 divided by the sum of the ratios 8 and multiply by 600 square meters. Now we can cancel 8 and 600. Let's divide 600 by 8 and see how much that is. So 600 divided by 8. 8 sevens are 56. 8 sevens are 56 minus, now let's do this. 10 minus 6 is 4. 0. 8 5s are 40. So we've got 75. That means 8 1s are 8. 8 into 75 is 600. Now let's multiply the numerators. 3 into 75. So 75 into 3. 3 5s are 15, carry 1. 3 7s are 21 plus 1, 22. 225. So we found the share of the first person, 225 square meters. Now it's easy to find the share of the second person. What you can do is take the total area of the plot of land, that is 600 square meters, and we found the share of the first person, 225. If you minus these two, you will find the share of the second person. Or if we do it this ratio method, let's do it exactly like how we did it for the first person. So the share of the second person, we have to take the second number, that is 5. So let's take that. 5 divided by the sum of the ratios into 600. And since this has already been done, this cancelling, we don't have to do it again. So 8 1s are 8 and 8 into 75 is 600. Now let's multiply 5 into 75. So 75 into 5. 5 5s are 25, carry 2. 5 7s are 35, plus 2 is 37. 375. So second person gets 375 square meters. So we found the share of the first person 225 square meters and the share of the second person 375 square meters. You can check your answer by adding up these two. You must get 600. Question 17. Two poles of different heights are standing vertically on a horizontal field. Okay, so imagine that there are two poles standing straight up and both are of different heights and they are standing vertically on a horizontal field. At a particular time, the ratio between the lengths of their shadows is 2:3. So there are two poles standing on the ground vertically and at a particular time they're casting shadows. And the ratio between the lengths of their shadows is 2:3. Now here we've been given the height of the smaller pole, which is 7.5 meters. Now we are asked to find the height of the other pole. So with the help of all the information given, we will find the height of the other pole. So here the ratio between the shadows of the two poles is given to us as 2:3. So this 2 is for the smaller pole and this one is for the taller one, the other pole. 3 is for the taller pole. Then the height of the smaller pole is already also given to us. Now we need to find the height of the other pole. So in this case, let's use a unitary method. So in this case, if the length of the shadow is 2, this is for the smaller one, the height of this pole is 7.5 meters. So when the length is 2, the height is 7.5 meters. So when the length is 3, what is the height? So this is our question. What is the height of the other pole? So here I'm using the unitary method. So I'm going to take 7.5 divided by 2. That is, I'm taking this 7.5 divided by 2 and multiply by 3. That is this 3. Okay, so now we can multiply and find out what the answer is. So 7.5 divided by 2 into 3. Now we can multiply first 7.5 into 3. So let's do that. So first let's multiply 7.5 into 3. Now this is multiplication of a decimal number by a whole number. So let's ignore the point and multiply and put back the point later. So 75 into 3. 3 5s are 15, carry 1. 3 7s are 21 plus 1, 22. Now let's go back to the question, look for the decimal place. There is one decimal place here. So in our answer also there should be 1. So that is 225. Now here we have 225 divided by 2. So 225, so that is 22.5 divided by 2. We put the point, so it's become 22.5. Now this we can do a normal division. So let's do that. 22.5 divided by 2. 2 ones are 2 minus 0. Bring down 2. Again 2 ones are 2 minus 0. Now carry this point up and bring the 5 down. Now 2 2s are 4 minus, now I'm going to continue my division. So 5 minus 4 is 1. Because my remainder is not 0, I'm continuing my division. So to continue my division, I have to put a 0 here. I can bring that 0 down. Now what is my number? 10. So 2 5s are 10. So now if you see, my remainder is 0. So I can stop my division here and my quotient 11.25, this will be my answer. So the height of the other pole is 11.25 meters. So we have found our answer. We've been asked to find the height of the other pole and the height of the other pole is 11.25 meters. So we'll stop with this for now, children. In our next video, we will continue with the remaining questions. Thank you, children.